Hey boys, hey YouTube, it's September 16th, 2023, and boy is it a day to celebrate. Cheers. For those of you who don't know, on August 5th, 2023, I was served a lawsuit by my previous dirtbag family lawyer in California who took over $130,000 from me, went to one hearing, and didn't accomplish anything, including not much discovery. She was suing me for another $10,000 for breach of contract. In a previous video, I went through that lawsuit with you page by page and showed it to you. And I told you that I was not going to answer the lawsuit, but instead I was going to request fee arbitration. I also told you I was going to request that the California State Bar take jurisdiction of the fee arbitration. And after that video, I got to work. Normally, arbitration's done at the local bar level if the local bar has a program available. My case is in Santa Clara County, California, and the local county bar does have a fee arbitration program available. You can ask the state to take jurisdiction for a number of reasons, one of which is if you don't think you can get a fair hearing at the local bar. If that's the case, and if that's what you're arguing, you have to do a declaration asserting why you think it is that you can't get a fair hearing. I prepared that declaration along with the arbitration application, and I sent it to the California State Bar, and then I sent it to the attorney who filed the lawsuit on behalf of my previous attorney. The reason why I sent it to opposing counsel in the lawsuit is because when you request fee arbitration, it automatically stays the lawsuit. You can't answer the lawsuit because if you answer the lawsuit, you waive your right to request fee arbitration. So I sent it to him and I told him, I'm sending this to you to create a paper trail in case you try to do any funny business. It's your responsibility to notify the court that your action is stayed. Before I tell you what happened today, I need to go get another glass of this fabulous Members Mark whiskey. For those of you who don't know, Members Mark is the brand for Sam's Club. It's like the equivalent of Costco. But God, it's good. Okay, with my fresh glass in hand, I can only guess that Mr. Tepperson, the attorney representing the opposing party in this lawsuit, my old attorneys, they both didn't like what I had to say in the declaration that I sent to the California State Bar asking that they take jurisdiction. Why can I assume that? Well, today I'm happy to report to you I received a request for dismissal in the mail from them. So tonight I'm going to show you the request for dismissal. I'm going to show you the declaration that I think triggered it. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I have the link in the description for the video that shows when they originally sued me. Before I show you the paperwork tonight, I do want to mention one thing. While the lawsuit was automatically stayed because of the fact that I requested fee arbitration, my next step was to serve a motion on opposing counsel for sanctions under California Civil Procedure 128.7. That is a useful tool, and I recommend you look it up for those of you that are struggling with dirtbag attorneys in California. There are two sets of sanctions available in this provision of the civil procedure. One is for 128.5 and others for 128.7. 128.7 basically says that any documents filed with the court and signed by the attorney are basically sworn to be true. And in this case, they filed a lawsuit claiming that I signed a retainer agreement in Santa Clara County, California, when they knew for sure that I did no such thing. So while the lawsuit was stayed, I was going to send a motion, which you have to do because there is a grace period or a holiday, let's say, where you serve the motion, but you don't actually file it. And it's a 21-day grace period under this provision where it gives the opposing side a chance to rescind something that they have fraudulently filed with the court. So that was my next step had they not done this. But since they requested dismissal, I don't have to do that. And I'm grateful that I don't have to do that because obviously I could spend that time doing something more productive. Okay, so let me show you the request for dismissal real quick, and then we'll look at the arbitration paperwork that I filed. It came in the mail today from Jonathan Tepperson. Interestingly enough, he never responded to any of my emails. Request for dismissal. Signed on the 7th. Not bad, right? This is the first, not including family court, this is the first ever lawsuit that's been served on me, and it's been defeated in 46 days. I wish I could have done that with my family law case 4 years ago. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at the fee arbitration application that I sent to the California State Bar. The State Bar has this form called Request for Arbitration of a Fee Dispute. It's pretty self-explanatory. I put my client information here. I put the attorney information right here. Gina Policastri was my attorney. I paid the legal fees. I am not going to be represented by an attorney. The date that I hired the attorney, the date that I fired the attorney. What type of case was the attorney handling for the client? Family law, parental abduction, jurisdictional challenge. Is there a fee agreement? Yes, although I never got the executed agreement. Just answer all these questions. Remember, if you file an answer to a lawsuit, you lose your right to fee arbitration. Number 10 talks about why should the California State Bar have jurisdiction. I checked. I believe that I will not receive a fair hearing through the local bar program. And that is true. I have been reporting misconduct and crimes to the local bar forever by certified mail return receipt request, and they just don't respond and they don't do anything. Not to mention the fact that I've witnessed dozens of attorneys commit professional misconduct and criminal conduct in the Santa Clara Family Court. And I've been reporting this stuff to the Santa Clara County District Attorney, who does nothing. Here's a breakdown of the fees. I'm disputing everything. So they sued me for over $10,000, but I'm disputing every single penny that I gave them because they took me for a ride and they didn't advocate for me whatsoever. So I ended up paying them. Actually, if you include the 10 grand, they're asking for a total of 138, but I paid them over $127,000 to go to one non-evidentiary hearing and do nothing and basically throw me under the bus and accomplish no discovery. Well, almost no discovery. It's interesting when you get into the rules with the State Bar about fee arbitration, it says that you can request a waiver. I always recommend, if you think you can qualify for a waiver, to request for it. One of the things that the court loves to do, the bar loves to do, and every parasite attached to this process loves to do is to steal money from you. So to the extent that you don't have to hand over any money, all the merrier. If they deny the fee waiver, then I guess I'm going to pay the fee. But I'm going to ask for it every single time I think I qualify for it, because I am not handing money over to these criminals anymore, at least not without a fight. The fee waiver for arbitration is 5% of the disputed amount. So in this case, it would be a considerable amount of money. You got to provide a summary of the fee dispute. So I said, I have filed a California State Bar misconduct complaints against the attorneys related to these fees. Gina Policastri, Riley Pennington, Michael Lonick, and Jonathan Tepperson. Tepperson is representing them in this lawsuit. I am attaching those complaints to this request for arbitration. The complaints document how these lawyers took advantage of the felony kidnapping of my children from Las Vegas to Nevada to defraud me out of almost $130,000. They completely failed to advocate for me. They knowingly filed a fraudulent lawsuit in Santa Clara County Superior Court in which they falsely asserted to the court that I signed the retainer agreement in San Jose, California on March 23rd, 2020. I'm requesting 3 arbiters because of the amount of money. I can do that. I do not agree to binding arbitration because I reserve my right to go into a court and ask a jury to decide this. You can have a lawyer that primarily practices in civil law or primarily practices in criminal law on your arbitration panel. In this case, I don't have a preference, so I just chose I don't have a preference. Thinking about it going forward, I probably would always choose a criminal attorney because at least they may have some concept of what due process actually is. Okay, so here's the declaration that I filled out saying why the California State Bar should have jurisdiction over the Santa Clara County Bar and for this fee arbitration. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but I went after this hard. I pointed to all the corruption and all the fraud that is evident in the public domain and I went hard after these people. And I think this is why today I received a request for dismissal. So I'm going to scroll through this and let you read it. One quick point, I copied this paragraph right here from my template. I forgot to change respondent to petitioner, but you know, it's a minor problem. Going forward, I put a Rule 8.3 notice on everything. That's the new rule that was passed in the Rules of Professional Conduct. It lets lawyers know that they are required to report evidence of professional misconduct when they see it. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Something to celebrate. That's my first lawsuit that I've been served in my life outside of family court, and of course not including the false criminal complaint that was filed against me when I was falsely arrested and my kids were kidnapped for a second time. But for a civil lawsuit, this is the first one in my life that's been served on me, and it was defeated in 46 days. I hope you learned something tonight. I hope this helps. I'll keep you posted. I have a lot going on behind the scenes, so I'm not going to be posting a lot for the next couple of weeks because I am working on some exciting things. But I will definitely keep you all posted. Boys, I love you. I miss you terribly. I hope I see you soon. YouTube, thank you for the support. If you don't know why I'm the father in exile, check the links in the description or the pinned comment.